Well, Ukraine was also high on the agenda when German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk met today in Berlin. Prime Minister Tusk was met with military honours. They're here to discuss a defence partnership and continued support for Ukraine. Chancellor Merz undermined the importance of Ukraine and its European allies, showing unity and being involved in any deal to end the war. Well, the German Chancellor emphasised that unity and support for Ukraine and also talked about methods to get Russia to the negotiating table.
We are pursuing the following strategic goals. First, we are doing everything in our power to support Kiev against the Russian aggressor. We now want to use the strongest leverage at our disposal to bring Russia to the negotiating table. Together, we want to push through in Brussels that we use the frozen Russian assets.
Our chief political editor, Michaela Küfner, has been following these talks. Welcome, Michaela. So what were the big points for you?
Well, clearly Ukraine is the overarching theme at these government consultations where parts of both cabinets actually sit down together and highlight that there are very special relationships between Germany and Poland indeed. And of course, that common interest over Ukraine, over European security. And here we just heard the German Chancellor speak of those frozen assets during the press conference, which was overrunning by quite a bit. He did stress that this was the strongest leverage that Europe has. Some argue it's the only leverage that Europe really has to actually make some headway and to position Europe as a real player in these negotiations, let's face it, which initially started over the heads of the Europeans and Ukraine. So hopes rest that the Europeans will remain united and finally decide to unlock those frozen assets to help Ukraine pay to defend itself against Russia. That would be a real pushback of Russia and could harm Russia financially very significantly. And we also heard a lot of talk here that the Europeans must not be divided. They have remained united so far. They were successful in renegotiating, at least partially successful, that initial 28-point plan. But the Viktor Orban's, the Hungarian Prime Minister, for instance, is one of those voices that doesn't always toe the European line. So this was a lot of symbolism, but also an 8-page document came out of this highlighting areas of closer cooperation.
How much leverage do these countries actually have in pushing forward to use these Russian assets and indeed for Europe to become independent from Russian energy? These are plans that have long been in the works.
Look, what I'm hearing is that Germany is, I mean, that's for sure, Germany is the largest economy in Europe. So these are two very populous countries. Germany is the economically most strong country within the European Union. And now we're on the tedious road of convincing other countries to step up and actually vouch for potential losses. It's the small country of Belgium where these assets have been frozen, which has been fearing that if there are any financial repercussions, it could suddenly be left alone with a 100 billion plus euro bill to foot. So here Germany has already assured it will step up and pay its share if needed. And here's now the long wait until that EU summit on the 19th of December for others to do so as well. I would say this is too important to fail.
And there's talk of a defence agreement between Germany and Poland.
Yes, that is something that Friedrich Merz said would be announced and signed next year, the 35th year of the special friendship pact between Poland and Germany. He didn't really go into terribly much detail, but looking into that 8-page document they signed today, we do expect this to include the long list of cooperations and already the policing, the air policing that Germany is doing potentially to be strengthened, but we're still to learn more details on that specific measure.
Thank you for that. DW's chief political editor, Michaela Küfner.